Welcome back, everybody, to another crash course into the state penitentiary. I don't like to call it a crash course because I strongly believe the majority of y'all are never going to see it. But for the ones that do, look, listen up. This shit's going to be very important. Today, we're going to be talking about individuals in prison that you should tip. It doesn't matter if you're west, east, north, and south. I believe these are universal individuals that deserve a little extra payout in prison. You know, I know money is scarce. What is the word? Scarce or scarce? Not quite sure, but you know, a lot of people ain't got it in prison. Even if they got family members and friends, I mean, it's expensive. They might get a random commissary package here and there, and I don't know how the phone call prices are nowadays, but when I was in there, it was like $11 a call home. Now, in prison, you know, if you are that type of individual that doesn't get that much money, I would bypass this whole intel session because I don't think you should tip in any case. If your money's that low, the people will know that you only get a package here and there. Trust me, everybody sees and jots down in their memory bank people's movements. How many times they go to canteen. Even if they're not plotting on them, they'll still see that this guy goes to canteen every week and they'll put it in their memory bank. If they got some kind of hustle or they got something they want to shoot someone's way, try and make some money, chances are, even if he don't know you, he'll come up to you like a vendor or something, you know? And believe it or not, that's how a lot of friendships that I had in prison, if you want to consider them friendships, came about. You know, people just knew that I had money, so they came trying to sell something to me. So let's go down the list. The top 5 important individuals in prison that you should tip a little extra money to. I got a few personal stories to go with these as well. Number 1, and this is actually very important, the carrier, right? The carrier. I'll never forget the first time, or it was actually the second time I used a carrier. Right? It was in jail. It was the same guy, but I later found out why the carry didn't go as planned on the second go round. First time I had him carry a book and something else. I believe it was to Grizzy or someone I knew from the streets. I can't remember. And in this jail cell, you could see the canteen spread out. I had my canteen spread out underneath my bunk. I mean, you could see it. Anybody could see it. Anybody walking past the cell, especially trustees. And this jail had a corridor. It had nothing but cell blocks. So those trustees were vital, man. They would go from one cell block of like 10, 15 people, grab whatever, go to the next cell block, hand it off. And the COs are supposed to be standing right next to them. But in this jail, you know, they were nowhere to be found. So they're passing anything and everything any which way. But I got him to pass something, and he didn't ask for no kind of tip or anything. But I, you know, just me in my mind, I didn't think that I was supposed to pay the carrier. Turns out, I asked him to carry something else for me, right, for the second time. And when he carried it but never came back. He didn't give it to nobody. He kept it for himself. It was canteen. So I got word that my homeboy didn't get his little snacks I sent him, right? So I told dude to ask dude, what the hell, where's the snacks and where's dude at? Because he ain't coming into the cell block no more, you know, if he were to happen to see him. So he did see him, you know, later. I don't know if it was that day or it was a few days later when I got the word, but he kept my stuff because I didn't look out for the cookout, is what he said. And I'll never forget that term because I use it all the time now. Look out for the cookout. What the hell does that even mean, bro? I'll never forget it when I first heard it. And damn, man, you know, I felt bad. Like I didn't know, right? So I wanted to like redo it. Let's redo it here. You know, I'll gladly give you a soup or something. We didn't have soups in the jail at that time. It was brownies. That was the high commodity. Brownies with the little peanuts, little Debbie Jangs. First fight I ever got into in jail was over Little Debbie's. Anyways, though, number 1 is the carrier. Always look out for him. He's risking a lot too, you know, carrying stuff from cell block to cell block. Another funny thing about the carriers as well is their turnover rate was so high that we would see new trustees all the time. And these guys would hope and pray that they would see some kind of like weak individual, usually a white guy, working the trustee, and they would pressure him to transport all this stuff, and he'd be overwhelmed. He'd be moving from cell block to cell block out of pure fear, transporting all this stuff. He'd be done. He'd get caught up. He's like, I hope to God the CO catches me because I can't handle this no more. And not to mention, he ain't getting paid, man. They pressured him, like I said, off of fear. He ain't getting no money for making these moves. And then if he says no and is acting a little scary, man, it's going to be the last thing he ever says in that cell block. They're going to be hitting him with piss, water, everything, you name it. Now, Bobby here is going to help us understand what happens when You don't tip. Sometimes, if you don't tip the carrier just right, it could backfire on you. Anyway, so number one, the carrier. Always try to give him a little bit extra if possible. Number two, the lookout. The only lookout that will ever look out for you is the one that's paid. A lookout, first of all, is anyone that sits out inside the day room and alerts people that the police are coming in to do their rounds. Okay, it lets people know to pack up the tattoo machines, put out the J's, Siggies, whatever. If you don't pay this lookout, I guarantee he ain't gonna do his job appropriately. If you pay him, he's gonna realize that that was some sweet, easy money just sitting down into the day room, especially someone that don't get no money. He is gonna be on his P's and Q's because he don't want to see that little source of income go away. And there's more tactics to the whole lookout. I'm just speaking about the tip factor. These little players in the prison game are very important, man. And when you look out for them, chances are they're gonna look out for you. I mean, money's food and people are starving. I've seen people do crazy things just for some Chico sticks, honey buns, and ramens, man. It's crazy shit. I've had a lookout where I didn't pay, and man, I I was tattooing myself, as a matter of fact, my stomach. I was practicing because I just got the hang of tattooing a little bit, and I was practicing my dark work, right? So I was just drilling away and on a letter, filling in a letter, and boom, I look up, CO's just watching me, man. I'm like, I don't even know who the hell it was I got to look out, but he did not do his job. If I paid the man, chances are he would have been on those doors like white on rice. But Bobby here is back again to show us exactly what could very well possibly happen to you in the state prison system if you don't look out for the lookout. Ain't that right, Bobby? So yeah, always try to look out for the cookout, for the lookout. Next up, number 3, and if you're a skinhead, you can bypass this one. The barber. That's right, the barber. You might think that you don't need a cut in prison, but a lot of people do. Who the hell wants to go to visitation looking like Shaggy? Nobody, man. You want to go in there looking good because you want your old lady to keep coming back. I remember I was in line for my first cut, and I seen people bring in the barber canteen commissary, and this was in jail, but even in jail, I mean, you get the basics on who to tip and lock up. But it was my turn to sit in the chair, and I didn't have any food or anything to give them. And when it was over, I mean, during the whole process, it was treacherous, okay? These clippers in jail, lockup, it don't matter where you're at. They are going to be ultra sharp. Sharper than any barber trimmers out here in the street. It's damn near like using a razor. A hot one. Anyways, man, he edged me up, and when I was done, I was like the topic of the cell block for the next 2 days because I was healing. At first, I went to everybody. I was like, hey, man, my neck is burning. Did he cut me? I thought he cut me, but he didn't. It just was red, right? It looked like it was red. But the next day, I mean, I had a whole scab outline of my edge up. I mean, all the way damn near to the back of my ear was a scab, right? And I thought it was because maybe he didn't know how to cut people's hair, but he cut everybody else's hair just fine that paid him. It was only the people that didn't bring any kind of food. So I couldn't stamp that was the reasoning behind why he was so heavy-handed. But if I were to guess, and I'm a gambling man, he knew anyone that was sitting in that chair for a free cut, he's going to make sure their cut's fucked up. He's going to make sure you bring a steak cake or something the next time. I wouldn't give him a steak cake, but still, something. Look, when I first went in, I was fresh turned 18. I was still baby face. I didn't know nothing about the system. So people, I wouldn't say were taking advantage of me, but I was learning things the hard way, I guess you could say. Now we have Bobby here once again to help us realize just how important it is to tip your local barber. In lockup, that is, okay? Because if you don't, this could very well possibly happen to you. Stay still now. We're going to do your edge up. God, man, I'm sorry you didn't tip. I've had these trimmers for probably 15 years, okay? I've done so many haircuts. These are my prison trimmers. Never had to repair them. I've taken the motor out of this, done tattoos, put it back in, and it still works like a charm. I use it every single week. The only thing I need to get done to it, Let's maybe sharpen these up a bit somehow. I don't know how, but they are starting to get a bit dull. So number 3, tipping the barber is definitely a must in my book. There's more people I'm sure that you could tip in lockup, but these are my personal top 5. All right. Number 4, the photo man, or any kind of trustee or inmate that's working inside the visitation. For me, this guy was a lifesaver. I mean, they charged like, I can't remember, it was like $3 for a photo ticket, right? And $3 in prison is like 30. So I would go to this guy and give him straight cash instead of going to canteen and buying them. I'd give him straight cash and get them for the low. And when I go to purchase these tickets, I'm also going to try to shoot my shot with other things. Look, man, I'm going to give you this cash for the photo tickets, but I'm going to give you a little extra if you can do something else for me. When me and my old lady get up into the corner to take the picture, I want you to start cleaning the camera. Get the correctional officer's attention. Tell them there's a spill on the floor over here. Anything to the point where I can cop me a couple feels. Believe it or not, just getting your hand on your old lady's cheeks in the corner of the wall will get you by, baby. Damn, it will get you by. I'm ready to go up there and grab some now. Now, for reference, Bobby here, once again, is going to show us exactly what happens when you don't tip the photo guy, okay? Like I said, me and my old lady like to get in the corner, you know. How are you doing? Look, Bobby, don't take this personally. We got to show him, okay? You know, slide the hand down, you know, posing like this. How you doing? I'm grabbing some cheeks. I'm not grabbing yours, Bobby. But you're taking a good picture, you pose. But you get your pictures back and they look like this. You look like you got some mental issues, man. You don't even want to send that shit back home to your old lady. She's going to be like, man, I can't believe I even took a picture with this scumbag. Come on, man. I know this guy did it on purpose because I ain't tip him. So yeah, he was vital to me in the way that I was handling my prison bit at that time. Once again, if you don't get visits or money, I mean, all this stuff can pretty much go out the window for you. And I can't even imagine having 20, 30, 40 years, not having a penny, being indigent. I can't imagine it. Now, last but not least, on the persons that I think you should definitely tip in prison. Coming in hot at number 5 is the laundry man. Look, a lot of people, you know, ain't got money to buy detergent. So a lot of people will send their clothes out with the state wash. You know, you just throw it all in there and hope to God they didn't steal all your thermals and nice canteen socks that you just bought. So I would recommend in jail to wash your own just my 2 cents. But as far as prison, man, the laundry thing steps up a notch. You pay a laundry man, this is what you're gonna get, okay? Just for like 3 soups, $1, right? You're gonna get him clean all your laundry with good detergent. Sometimes you gotta make up your own, but a good laundry guy, especially if you tip him, he's gonna throw in his magic dust. You know, them laundry guys always got a secret formula to make your prison clothes smell like you just stepped out of mom's living room. But like I said, for $1 usually, something very cheap, because he's doing pretty much 20 to 30 other people's laundry. That's a lot of money a month, but he lives in the laundry room, right? So he's gonna wash all that stuff nice, crispy, clean, probably sit on the dryer reading a book all damn day. He's gonna fold it if it needs ironing, like jeans or something. He'll iron it, fold it, bring it to you neater than some of y'all's moms bring it to you. It is completely pressed. I mean, it's ready to go, like you're about to go to an interview. Now, this is the thing. The reason why I say tip them is because usually the laundry guys or anyone, if you tip them, if you're paying them more than the other person, he's going to put you at the top of that list. He's going to treat you different. He's going to laugh and kick it with you and everything. If you didn't tip, you're going to get your laundry last. You can get no kick it from him, you know, for the most part. He's just going to drop it off and go. This is the key, though. This is the key on how you know who and who not to give a little extra money to in prison for their services. There's a lot of other people that you can do this to. Artists, kitchen crew. It just depends on how many times you're going to use them. If you're going to need his services again shortly after, then yeah, you don't want there to be any issues with you coming to him. You want everything to be a green light, nice and smooth. And what makes that happen is money. And not to mention, it's going to build your respect with other people. They're going to realize that you're kind of like a player in the game. You're definitely a player in the game. You're contributing to the economy of prison. And if you're cool and stuff like that, man, people see it, and you're a part of the flock, man. You're in the mix a bit. Right? So, believe it or not, tipping, it really will do good for you if you got it. If you ain't got it, then you ain't got it. I wouldn't recommend getting services done by anyone if you ain't got money to tip. Now, of course, once again, my buddy Bobby here is going to show us exactly what happens if you don't tip the prison laundry guy. This could very well possibly be coming your way. Here's your laundry, buddy. Enjoy. Thanks for no tip. But that is a wrap. Hopefully you enjoyed and learned a little something today. If you did, like I said in the beginning, hit that like, subscribe, notification bell before you leave. I know a lot of my viewers are used to the reactions and the action going on in the cell block and stuff like that, but I feel like these one-on-one personal intel sessions is very important as well.